Thursday, June 1st. I'm going to call that meeting to order. Elissa, will you please take the roll?
Here.
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 Here. Here.
And if you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First item on our agenda is the minutes of the council meeting for May 18th. Any comments or questions on any of those minutes? Mr. Romling?
The Public Safety Committee meeting, we have a typo in there.
Do you mind Mr. Romling, do you mind holding on to that one for just
Oh,
a
sure.
second? I'm just at the council minutes. You're ahead of me.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Any comments on the council minutes? All right. Our next item is comments and suggestions from citizens present. Don't see any, all right. Oh, is there anyone that would like to comment remotely? Okay. All right. Our first item then is a public hearing. This is to hear public comments regarding the proposed fare increases for the transit system, which is our shared ride taxi program, of 25 cents for all fares within the city limits and 50 cents for fares outside the city limits. I will open that public hearing. If anyone would like to comment on that one, you can go to the microphone and state your name and address. Or if there's anyone virtually that would like to comment. All right, I'll close that public hearing. Our next item then is committee reports. We have the Finance Committee for May 24th, Public Works Commission for May 25th, Public Safety and Welfare from May 5th. Mr. Romline.
The last page, second line from the bottom, change the word deny to table.
On which item?
Public Safety, last,
Item 6.
very last line, second line from the end of the document, on that first page.
Is this,
The first, it's number 4, Mayor.
thank you. I was like, what item are we on? All right, we'll make that adjustment. Anybody else? All right. We have no old business. So then under communications and recommendations, we have a COVID-19 update and discussion from Carol. As I'm pulling this up for Carol, I just want to pose one comment for you all to consider, and that is that we would like to propose having these shift to once a month. So Carol's going to speak through this, but at the end, if everyone's agreeable, we'll have a bit of conversation around that. So Carol, go ahead.
Evening, everyone. So I'll just go through our local case numbers to begin with. Our total confirmed cases are 2,651. Total resolved are 2,645. We have 6 active confirmed cases currently. We've had a total of 219 probable cases. We have 146 suspect cases, and we have 7 open contacts. 4.04% of our positives have been hospitalized, and we continue to have 44 deaths. So that hasn't changed. And then I wanted to share with you, and the mayor and I talked about a presentation of breakdown with age since the beginning of this year. Is that on my end, Emily?
Yeah.
Echo?
Oh, nope, you're not echoing, I don't think.
Okay, very good. So this graph that I'm showing you is all of our cases confirmed and probable. So the confirmed are green. And as a reminder, confirmed is that they had a confirmatory lab test. And probable, which is in yellow, would be individuals that were symptomatic, maybe had an exposure, and their provider diagnosed them without doing a test. So those are probable cases. And you can see that the age group 40 to 49 years of age has had the most confirmed cases, followed by 10 to 19 years of age, and then the 30 to 39 years of age, and, pretty close, 50 to 59 years of age, and those are confirmed. Our probable cases, the highest age group is the 10 to 19 years of age. You can go on to the next. So then vaccinations, the Watertown Health Department has provided 8,321 total doses of vaccine. We have provided 4,290 first doses, which would include the Johnson & Johnson, which is just a one-dose series. And we have provided 4,031 second doses, and that would have been of Pfizer and Moderna. And then for the residents of the city of Watertown, 8,920 people, or 37.4% of our population, have received a first dose, and 7,343, or 30.8% of our population, have received a second dose. And 7,909, or 33.1%, of our population are fully vaccinated. And again, just as a reminder, those numbers don't add up because one of the vaccines is a one-dose series and the other two are two-dose series. And then I, again, just wanted to provide you with some information statewide. 47.9% of Wisconsinites have received one dose of vaccine, and 42% of Wisconsinites are fully vaccinated, or over 2.4 million doses. And then the next graph will help to give you a better visual of where Wisconsin is at and where the city of Watertown is at as far as doses. So you can see that we lag here in the city, we lag 10 percentage points behind the state for first doses, and we lag about 9 percentage points behind the state for fully vaccinated. That is all the information I have, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Before I open it up, I'll just share two things. Just as a reminder, the emergency declaration ended at the end of May, so we're no longer under that. I received a request for something under that today and had to say no, which is okay. It's not an emergency. We can get it to the right committee. And then I shared last time about our ARPA money. This is the federal COVID money that the city's been allocated. It's just over $2 million, I think 2.3 or 2.5, somewhere in there. We haven't received that yet, and it will come in two separate tranches. But we did receive, we have received the first step of that plan, which is what I shared with you all, where we tasked our department heads with evaluating the projects or the needs they have that would work within the confines of that funding. Those have been submitted to Alex, and Alex has compiled a list that we're going over later this week. So I would suspect, depending upon our schedules for Finance Committee, the Finance Committee will be receiving some recommendations either in June or in July, depending upon what meeting schedule. We're in no rush to get that spent because we have federal draft guidance. It's still going through the 60-day review period, so we still need that guidance to be firmed up. And then I met last week with Jefferson County, the Jefferson County Administrator, and then mayors and managers and administrators from Jefferson County, just to kind of coalesce around what people are thinking about with using the money. So the conversations are still active and fluid as to what people are looking at for potential uses. So the biggest thing that's been shared from the beginning is just to, slow down, think strategically. These are one-time shots in the arm. So we want to make sure that we aren't, that we're being careful and measured about the approach. So that work continues, and you all will be receiving an update probably this month or next month on suggestions of how to allocate those funds. Questions for Carol or I? Mr. Ritten.
Hi, Carol. Alder Ritten here. Last time I spoke about the city lagging behind the state in fully vaccinated percentage.
is there a perception perhaps across the city? Like if some people say they've already had COVID, they don't need the vaccine, and what have you written in the science notes about immunity, natural immunity from already having COVID to the immunity provided by the vaccine? Is one better than the other?
So, Alderman Britton, I think that is part of the conversation that we're having with individuals and providers are having with their patients. I would, and I thought about doing this, but it's a little tough on a presentation, but if you would refer to the state Department of Health Services website and look at the map, the surrounding communities, Dodge and Jefferson County, are similar in percentages that we have. Certainly, there are communities east and west, and actually a few very north in Wisconsin that have much higher percentages of vaccinated individuals. But we're pretty steady with the population around us. And, a couple things that we're continuing to do, and I've talked about this before, but we're working with employers to make vaccine accessible during the workday. And we have a number of employers that are providing incentives. We're also going to be going into neighborhoods. We are going to be providing vaccine at all of our public health programs. So we've been doing car seats all along. We've talked to some of our young families, and they're interested in receiving vaccine, but find it difficult because they have a new family member. So making it more convenient when they come in for a car seat installation. Also with our parenting visits, our prenatal care visits, all of our programs, we will be offering the vaccine. And I've been answering questions for providers. Our providers are, struggling with if we open up a vial and we don't give it all in one day, everybody's feeling bad about wastage. And right now we know we have an adequate supply. So providers are opening up a vial the first patient that they have during the day to give that dose. And if they don't give the rest of those doses or they don't use the entire vial, there isn't the same kind of concern that we're wasting doses because we know we haven't enough. And I actually just answered that question for a couple providers today. So I think it's just a work in progress. We'll take advantage of some community events that are coming up as well to be available for families, young families that, they find it difficult to make an appointment and come in for an appointment for vaccines for a couple of their family members. So we're, again, just trying to meet people where they're at.
Also, could you speak to the immunity level from receiving the vaccine to people that have had COVID and their immune response? Is one better than the other?
So we know from early research that if a person had COVID, that they do have protection for 90 days. But after 90 days, the immunity starts to wane fairly significantly. So if a person did have COVID, many people are considering waiting for that 90 days or close to 90 days and then receiving a vaccine so that that they're confident that they have the protection. So that is part of the discussion, and that 90-day number has been part of a person's decision-making as well.
Other questions or comments for Carol?
I do. I have actually a comment. Carol, how many employees do you need in a non-pandemic year? Typically.
So I have 10 employees
10
for all of my programs. That would include the environmental health program and my emergency preparedness program and then public health nursing.
So do you have a plan for the individuals that you had to hire on? Because at some point, not everybody's going to need the vaccine. The numbers are going to get slower and slower. Do you have a plan for these individuals? Because yeah.
The LTEs.
Yes.
Yes. So we're already working with them. A few of them have cut down their hours. They only come in for our bigger clinics. And we've just had the conversation with the other two today that they'll just be coming in for the bigger clinics or in preparation of the bigger clinics so my nurses can get back to other programming. We're starting to have WIC come back. They'll be back in our community. So the health department will be supporting that program. And just today, we were able to plant our community garden around our green space at the health department, and that vegetable garden supports our senior meals as well as some of our youth programs with fresh vegetables. So staff are eager to get back to some of their regular programming, and we do have a plan to sunset hours for our LTs.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? So, once a month, okay on this? Rather than, is everyone all right with that? Okay, all right, I'm seeing yeses in the room, Carol.
Okay, thank you all.
All right, thank you, Carol. Let's then go to our next item, which is a library update from Peg. Thank you, Peg.
Good evening. I'm Peg Checkeye, Director at the Watertown Public Library. It's been a while since I've had the opportunity to come speak in front of council. I think it's probably been a good year.
Is that mic on?
Is it not?
Sounds on now that your butt's in with it. I trust Jordan will come in if he can't hear us, so you go ahead, Peg. They'll come in if they need us.
So just to give everyone an update, we are
There he is.
currently in a paused or closed portion of our move. We did start construction last year in September, and for basically everything with the building, the addition is done. We've going over the punch list right now between staff and our architect. We are looking at very small issues with the project. We're not seeing anything too major. Everything, of course, was corrected as we moved along. So we are closed. Staff is currently moving everything out of the Carnegie and the 1984 addition into the new space. Today, we welcomed Urgis Van Line movers to help us actually move the physical bookcases. Last week, they dropped off 94 book carts, which everyone filled up, and now we actually do the heavy lifting today. You might actually see staff people pushing the carts up around the side of the library because our elevator, if passed state inspection today, but until they came, we could not use the elevator inside of the building. We are closed, which means all the book drops are closed. We are not taking phone calls. We are doing some social media interaction with people if they have questions. But just so everybody knows, we are closed. Our planned opening day is June 14th at 8:30 a.m. We plan to do a small ribbon cutting. We'll let everybody know if you're interested in coming. We'll send you a small invitation. We didn't want the occasion to pass without some recognition. When we do open on the 14th, we are not showing, I'll say, people are not showing our full peacock plumage when we're opening. So the walls will be white. Everything will kind of be basic inside. I know the building itself when you walk in is very impressive, and that alone speaks for itself. But we won't have all the bells and whistles up in the children's area. We're saving that for the full grand opening, which will be either real late 2021 or early 2022 by the time we finish things up. So the next part is moving on to the Carnegie Building and the 1984 addition. That will start on June 15th. They are already starting some work around the outside of the building. You'll see on the east side, they're digging the footings for the new wall. We have a window wall going in that will be all solid glass that will actually be looking out over the new park across the street. So they're starting work on that. You will also see, even though the library was fully abated back in 1984, they put windows back in that had asbestos in them, and they also used mastic in some of the flooring that also had asbestos in it, so we have to remove all that before we can actually move forward with that also. They also are relocating the front door. The front door will now be the main entrance. Even though we have one on Main Street, the main entrance to the library will be on the south side of the building. It will access the parking lot, so people will be able to pull up, drop somebody off, and then they'll be parking right there, handicap parking. So that will also be moved. So you'll start to see that kind of work. While we're actually moving, we're going to be working together with Myron. I also wanted to note that the outside landscaping is done. If you've noticed that, the wall is up, grass seed's been planted, we have shrubbery planted all around the outside. And then the driveway is also complete. You can drive down. Our plan is to have the book drop open for when we open on the 14th, so you can, that's partially paved, and then you will exit off of gravel into the parking lot. Got lots of notes here. We, our custodian, I don't know what we would do without Kevin right now. He is instrumental in helping us move things smoothly, taking bookcases down, and just has a great aptitude for everything mechanical and everything we have to do to keep everything moving along. We actually are moving the bookcases this week. We moved, the staff today actually moved into the children's area, set up bookcases, moved the books in. A lot of it is logistics right now. We have this big space, we have all these bookcases, and we're working together to try to make sure we have room for everything. In the front room, which is the big meeting room, the nonfiction collection and large print will be held in there. Next week, we work with our IT. We work with Taylor Consulting out of Heartland to help us assist our transition from the new building to the old, or from the old building into the new building. We have a fiber optic lines. He's also working with the city here for our phones, make sure those work. And we also have the connection to our Bridges library system that we have to maintain. We have cameras all over the building now. At a minimum, we will need at least 55 additional IP addresses for the building, and that's just for the cameras. So we have a lot of logistics to figure out that way, too. Also, next Thursday, the fire board, or what you would call it, the panel, has to be moved out of the old building into the new building. Once that happens, we can no longer occupy the 84 structure. So that we plan on for next Thursday. When we move into the new building, we are occupying the whole space. So we're taking a two-story library and putting it into the new space. So we won't have any meeting rooms to use. Those will become offices. As I noted, the big meeting room will become housing for our nonfiction collection. So just to note that we've already had people calling us wanting to reserve meeting rooms. So a lot of excitement for the building. It ended up being pretty curious today. I was digging through the back room through our vault, and there was a 100-year celebration for the library that was noted on June 14th, 1907.
Wow.
And that's June 14th, the day we're moving into the new building, so I thought that was pretty cool. So when they start taking the windows out, you're gonna see plywood up in all the windows. So we're taking out everything out of the Carnegie, and everything upstairs, downstairs, and the windows aren't coming until August. So as they do the abatement, they remove the windows. You will see the windows being replaced with construction material. So I don't know exactly what they're using, but that's what it will look like from the outside. So she won't look very pretty for a while. The plan, of course, is to paint the front of the library, fix all the molding up on top. We've got some birds nesting up there right now, new drainage, all that kind of stuff will happen. So the Carnegie building will look beautiful from the inside and the outside when we are all done. We plan to maintain the upstairs Carnegie, the integrity of the solid oak woodwork, all the really big molding in there, the fireplace, all that will be maintained upstairs. Downstairs, though, if you're familiar with the downstairs in the meeting room, that will be totally transformed into the teen area. And so we have a lot of excitement, a lot of exciting things happening with that area, too. We are going to have a few surprises in the new building, so, or in the Carnegie, so I'm not even going to, tell you about those. I want everyone to be surprised when they come in. We did open roof bids last week. Unfortunately, we only had one bid, but the person who bid it was the same outfit out of Madison that actually did the roof on the addition. Our architect was pretty happy with the bid, came in under budget, so we're very happy about that. We do have several leaks in the building in the 84 edition, so before we move forward, we have to find out where those leaks are coming from. We're also looking for a solution because we hear already, we have the new brick wall that we've got skateboarders on there. So we're looking for solutions to stop that before it becomes a problem. I want to say personally, as the library director, I can't be more proud of the library staff right now. Everyone is pitching in, everyone's comes to work positive, knowing that we probably have a really hard day of work ahead of us, and troubleshooting, pitching in, helping each other. So it's a really positive work atmosphere, and I'm very proud of the library staff at this moment in time. So they're asked to do things that really aren't in their job description, moving a library. Very proud of them all. We are using a limited amount of volunteers, mostly family. My husband gets pulled into everything at the library, and we even had someone's grandson, so that was kind of nice. The pavers are going to the engravers, so if you purchased a paver for supporting the library, those will be right in the front by the Main Street doors, so those are going to start to be engraved really soon. Most important, our budget. Our budget is doing well. We're not running into any problems with the budget. We did have a $200,000 contingency fund, and just recently, we did receive a very generous anonymous donation to the project for $150,000. So that helps us with some of our unexpected expenses that have popped up along the way. I also still think it speaks real volume as to the support for the project, for the community project. I think that's enough. We've been really busy, and we hope if you have questions about anything, you can pop in. People are popping in all the time wanting to return books. We aren't taking any books because we don't want to lose them. But if you want to stop in, the Main Street doors are open for moving. If you want to come in and take a look, you're more than welcome. If you have questions about anything, please reach out to me, and we'll hope to see you at the library really soon.
Thanks. Our next item, not so exciting, is just a reminder that the council meeting on the 15th is moved to the 14th to accommodate the primary election. So just a calendar note for you there. We have no new business. Our next item then is the accounts payable.
Madam Mayor, I move we pay all accounts payable.
Thank you. Motion by Romline, second by Wetzel. Comments on the accounts? Yulissa? Romline?
Aye.
Cash?
Aye.
Wen?
Aye.
Britton?
Aye.
Bart?
Aye.
Lick?
Aye.
Wagner?
Aye.
Schmidt?
Aye.
Wetzel?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is reports and miscellaneous business. You have the branding committee from January 21st, the payroll summaries of May 5th to May 18th, the redevelopment authority for May 19th, site plan review for May 24th. Anybody have any comments, questions on any of those? All right, very good. We have no licenses, so let's go to ordinances. Our first is ordinance 21-22. This is to amend section 550-49 residential land uses through the creation of section 550-49G central business apartments. This is here for me and the plan commission on the second reading.
I'll move to approve ordinance 21-22.
Thank you. Motion by
I'll
Pash.
second.
Second by Went. Comments or questions on this one? Alyssa? Pash.
Aye.
Went.
Aye.
Britton.
Aye.
Barth.
Aye.
Lick.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Wetzel.
Aye.
Romline.
Aye.
All right, our next is ordinance 21-23. This is to amend section 550-15 definitions through the addition of language. This is here for me and the plan commission on the second reading.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Went,
I'll second.
second by Wetzel. Comments or questions on this one? Yulissa? Went.
Aye.
Britton.
Aye.
Barth.
Aye.
Lick.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Wetzel.
Aye.
Romline.
Aye.
Cash.
Aye.
Thank you. Next is ordinance 21-24. This is to amend section 550-34 Central Business District through the creation of section 550-34B, paren 2, paren K, Central Business Apartments. Again, here from me and the Plan Commission on the second reading. Ms.
Madam
Romline.
Mayor, I'll move Friday, 21-24.
Motion by Romline, second by Mr. Licht. Comments or questions on this one? Yulissa? Romline.
Aye.
Cash.
Aye.
Went.
Aye.
Britton.
Aye.
Barth.
Aye.
Licht.
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Wetzel.
Aye.
Next is ordinance 21-25. This is to amend section 550-50B husbandry through the removal and addition of language. This is here for me and the Plan Commission on the second reading.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Motion by Schmidt,
I'll second it.
second by Ritten. Comments or questions on this one? Who knew bees was such a popular second? Elissa? Schmidt.
Aye.
Wetzel.
Aye.
Romline.
Aye.
Cash.
Aye.
Went.
Aye.
Ritten.
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
Wagner.
Aye.
All right, resolutions then. Our first is Exhibit 9223. This is a resolution to approve an amendment to the MOU with Main Street Watertown LLC for development of property located at 111 South Water Street. This is here from me.
Here, I'll make a motion to approve Exhibit 9223.
Motion by Written,
Second.
second by Bartz. Questions or comments on this one? Mr. Pash?
Mayor, I don't know, can you expand a little bit on the primary
I can.
reasons?
And I think this is Alex, that's caller one. So Alex, is that, if it is, I'll let Alex speak to it. If not, I can.
Yeah, I'm on. What was the question?
Mr. Pash was just inquiring what kind of the couple major topics that are precipitating this extension.
Sure. Yeah, so basically, coordination between T-Wall and Smith Group, who's designing the town square, has kind of pushed them out a little bit. They're trying to make sure that their grades on the two different properties are appropriate, their elevations match up, and that they're kind of coordinating path connections so that it could be a high-quality design and still kind of satisfy ADA requirements. So they pushed it out, and I think we're going till August 15th for that extension.
And then the second item, and Alex, stop me if this is the same thing or has been resolved, is we waited for some time for a response from the DNR for the ordinary high water mark. I don't know that we've even received it yet. So
To my knowledge, we haven't, no.
and Jacob's in the room and he's saying we haven't either. So we, eventually Alex, I believe, just had the idea of asking Smith Group what they were using for design. So we provided that to T-Well. So it's good progress, frankly. Just things that come up in design. Good question. I'm glad you asked. Ms. Britton.
I'll just make a point to mention that there's still good faith movement on all parties, so this is just simply an extension to keep that momentum going, and good things will happen.
I appreciate that. Anybody else on the? Elissa, do you want to roll? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Awesome. Thanks, Alex. All right, let's go then to Exhibit 9224. This is a resolution to approve the Water System Safety Program Code Update with Graham. This is, excuse me, from Alderman Wetzel and Public Works.
I'll move for 9224.
Motion by Wetzel, second by Romline. I'm going to hesitantly say questions on this one because clearly I'm not up to speed on this one. But perhaps Mr. Wetzel is. Anyone have questions on this one? Elissa?
Wetzel,
Aye.
Romline,
Aye.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Written,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
All right, next is Exhibit 9225. This is a resolution to approve the sale of utility-owned items on Wisconsin surplus auction. This is here from Alderman Wetzel and Public Works.
I'll move for 9224.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Motion by Wetzel, second by Wagner. Comments or questions on this one? Do you want to roll? Oh,
Wetzel,
Aye.
Romline,
Aye.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Written,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
All right, next is Exhibit 9226. This is a resolution to authorize the interim classification and back pay for the Assistant Media Coordinator. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll move to approve 9226.
Motion by Wagner,
Second?
second by Written. Comments or questions on this one?
Just one. Why is there a back pay issue?
So when we had a vacancy with the media coordinator position with Karen's
Okay.
departure. And so when the person does it for a period of over 60 days, once it's then filled, we go back and address the back pay for that.
Oh,
time.
okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good question. Any others? Elissa?
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel,
Aye.
Romline,
Aye.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Written,
Aye.
Barth,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
All right, and then the last is 9227. This is a resolution to approve the fire station study contract with Five Bugles Design and the associated budget amendment. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
Move that, Mayor.
Motion by Romline.
I'll second.
Second by Wetzel. Comments or questions? And there is an item on your desk. Go ahead.
I have a question. And if the chief can answer it or what, this bid is, in want of a better term, over double less than the next lowest bid. Just wondering if that's,
Chief, yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Sure. With this, when we were going out there looking for bids, we're looking for a station study. And Five Bugles designs fire stations. And the FGMA and SEH also have the, architect and engineering firms. They're all going to be doing the same thing where they're going to do a station study, doing a GIS study, and give a cost analysis. Some other ones put in some other stuff in there for like doing some other environmentals, if we did land or other things with land purchase. But at this point, where the way with Five Bugles was when we did a quality-based selection process, I should say they had all the stuff that we needed as well as these other three, and they'll get us what we need for that price. Is that answering that?
so is the other bids were just higher because they have more in them?
Well, when you're looking at some of them actually, when we asked them to break down all the other steps, and some of the costs for doing the station study aspect was a lot more than, looking here, like the 12,000 that they had, some were 19,000. And then the geographical stuff was, I think one was like right around, can't remember those other bids, what I sent in there, was a little bit higher as well. They're higher across the board on the same services.
I just, we're just not taking the low bid because it's low and we're getting a cheaper.
No, we're not taking low bid because it's the lowest. We've had that discussion already at that, because we went through a quality-based selection process. We looked at the qualities first. We actually had 12 vendors that went through this, and just by looking at their proposals and what they had sent in, we got rid of 5 and then went through interviewing 7 and gave them points on the interviews and questions and went through there and got down to the final 3, and then did some more interviews and then opened bids, and this is to get to this point here. So we, through that, we didn't even do the bids didn't come into play until at the very end of this process.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the chief? Any other questions for the chief? Just kidding, Mr. Patch.
Chief, thank you for your continued participation in all the Q&A. I know I'm just, with the exclusions, the environmental exclusions, have you had any kind of reflection or consideration on how you're going to address that? I mean, there will be environmental requirements.
Yeah, and what they were putting in there for like environmental is the same thing that like Five Bugles was all you're gonna do too. They're gonna do that, that cursory check. On some of that is they're just doing that cursory check where they were checking in the past owners and the life of the property. It's not any doing it in the phase 1 or phase 2. That would be coming later on with when we.
Yeah,
put the property
they
to
say they're
purchase.
going to address by others, so are we anticipating that, or have we thought about what those, you just put it out to bid again, environmental, when that time comes?
When that time comes, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? All right, thanks, chief. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no other commentary, go ahead, Alyssa.
Bromline,
Aye.
Cash,
Aye.
Went,
Aye.
Britton,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Lick,
Aye.
Wagner,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Wetzel.
Aye.
All right, our next item is comments and suggestions from, oh,
Just clarifying, that could have been the supplemental version that was applied that you were taking?
I alluded to it right before you started speaking, but do you feel comfortable with that? Did you all know you were voting on the one that was sitting at your table?
Yeah.
There were a couple of the clarifications that were requested at finance and that the city attorney requested. Are you comfortable with that? I'm looking at you.
Who made the original motion?
Bromley?
Bromley? Okay. I think we should just clarify, is that amendment acceptable to you, Mr.
Yeah.
Bromley? And then who was the second?
Thank you. All right. So comments and suggestions from citizens present. We only have staff online. With that, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Motion by Schmidt, second by Wagner. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thanks, everybody. Have a good week. Thanks, Andrew.